Alright, so if I told you that I may have sat down with somebody and gotten a Q&A session with a NSFW artist that's pretty damn well known, would you believe me? Well, to be honest, some of y'all might. But when it comes down to it though, that's kind of where we are, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit surprised by that. Now, to be very honest with you, I was like, alright, I'm gonna just shoot these questions and see if I can do something. Why not? Hopefully get a response. Luckily we did, and to be perfectly honest, I feel like my optimism for once has rewarded me. Yes, we're gonna be doing a small Q&A with the main man themselves, Godoy, and when it comes down to it though, talk about a little bit about, the art of what they make and certain stuff like that, right? Because I feel like while we do artist appreciation and while we do talk about a lot of these really great and phenomenal people, I feel like we just respect them for their art and not really them as behind the scenes or what they kind of think and craft out and stuff. So that's what this really is, and hopefully if this does well, maybe I can see if I can try to get more people into the future of doing this as we kind of continue on doing more artist appreciations as time goes on. But before I begin, emergency mode, gonna be straight up honest with you, I'm still doing Kokatsu commissions, and really only Kokatsu commissions. I'm not gonna do a drawing commission until I get the first one done. Granted, it's gonna be a little bit minute because I gotta wait till this phone arrives, but still nonetheless, when it comes down to it, I'm doing Kokatsu commission. Obviously, follow me on Twitter, DM me if you want to do that, because when it comes down to it, I have a bank account that is not, well, at least it's not even my bank account. It's a bank account that basically takes care of the bills and mortgage and stuff. There's not going to be any more money in there, and I need to make sure that there isn't anything in there before it decides to die and close on us and we have to pay extra fees from out of nowhere, like RKO and Randy Orton style. So if you can help in some shape or form, please again hit me up on Twitter in some shape or form, or if you just like to donate just straight in general, Kofi is the way. So if you can help me in that area, that would be very much appreciated, and that'll help us survive for a little bit longer, honestly. So again, anything that you donate will be appreciated. Now, with that being said, I had asked 7 questions when it comes to them, and I'll display all 7 questions here. 1, what got you just creating Jinsai in general? 2, is there any particular reason as to why your art focus on like an accurate art style to different shows? Basically, the art that they create looks very one-to-one kinda to the actual show itself, so why is there a reason for that? And then number 3, how did you develop your style if they did have a style? Number 4, any particular artworks that you may be most proud of or least proud of? Number 5, regarding lolly characters, who do you want to draw the most or challenge yourself to draw? Number 6, do you plan on making any more animations like the one animation that he did with the small Shota boy and the very thick and very sexy milky cowgirl, which if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend go watching that, because yes. But when it comes down to it, in number 7, if any, do you have a favorite lolly character and why? So that's basically my dang questions when it comes down to it. Now I'll be completely honest with you, the first question kind of answers 1, 2, and 3, and he even gone as far as to be like, yo, some of these answers might disappoint you a little bit and may not be worth for a video, but the fact that you came through and honestly just responded and reached out back to me, to be honest, it's alright, man. It's very much alright, to be honest with you. So first things first, the first dang question. What got him into creating Jinsai? Which he says, because it's fun and I used to fantasize over fictional scenarios with characters from the series I watch and currently watch. I still do so. Being that one of many reasons why I don't get bored of drawing NSFW, because I still have ideas that I want to realize. If there's a point once I have done everything I wanted, which would be hardly the case, commissions have that extra imagination that I could lack and keep things going. Which, yeah, to be honest, I can really agree with that, because how many times have you heard somebody say, draw this and draw that, and we don't even really think about it? And obviously the second question, is there a reason for the accurate anime art style that they have? And he says, similar to a previous question, because I fantasize of said scenarios based on said shows, I wanted to see those scenarios feel like they happen. So the accurate art style is the way to go. The second reason is because I don't have a defined art style of my own. Going for already established and defined styles is easier for me, or at the very least I think I'm good enough to pass. Which, I don't think I thought about it that way, honestly. I never really thought about it that way. Making accurate art style, or at least draw it accurate enough to think that, oh shit, this scene in the show might have actually happened. I never really thought about it like that, actually, because I'm just like, alright, well, I'll just draw this and then I'll classify it as my own canon. But And then I guess it's too, it will make people think as well that, yo, could this be like a hidden scene somewhere? Which is kind of reminiscent to what we just talked about with the Evangelion, tape that is out there that people have been talking about for years and years now. And it makes me think that, yo, maybe that's kind of a similar situation. Why the art style may not be exactly one-to-one, but look very close and accurate enough to the point where it's like, yeah, I can understand if that Evangelion human salvation project could have been maybe some type of like, I guess gag by the actual company that made Evangelion itself. It could be. And if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you watch it because I did a lot of research when it comes down to it. But still, nonetheless, I can understand that thought and reasoning, honestly. The third question I said was how to develop your style, but obviously we kind of already have the answers to that. But he basically says in number 3, that's answered in a previous question, but I like having no style. Taking as an example, Akira Toriyama's character design. We all have seen the joke where you can change the style of hair and 10 plus different recognizable characters. You can spot Bulma and Goku in different games or stories because he had a defined and refined style. All characters tend to look the same, which isn't bad by any means, but apply that to fan arts. And although while you'll spot some really good and characteristic styles or of different artists, in some cases I've seen the Toriyama effect where the drawing is the exact same character with different hair. I don't know how well I explain myself. It's not something bad at all, but not something I like. Which, I'm a little confused when it comes down to it. Maybe it's my dumbass brain, but maybe I believe what they're trying to say here. And again, correct me if I'm wrong when it comes down to it. Feel free. But maybe I think it's like they don't want their, I guess, everything to look the same. Am I getting that right, or am I effing that up? I'm actually again kind of confused. So again, please do correct me if I'm, effing this part up of the question. But essentially, there is no art style to what he has. It's kind of just, him copying the style of a different show. And he doesn't necessarily mind that though. So, and so again, like I said before, copying an art style is something that anybody that can draw can absolutely do. I've done it with Oda-chan before. And again, going back to the whole Evangelion thing, somebody in that company, or Gainax at the time, could have copied the style for that little Gensai animation over there. Number 4, I was like, what is an artwork that you are the most proud of and what you are the least proud of? And he just says, none. Damn! It's a common case that you might have already heard or seen from different artists, but although I can like what I make in the moment, after a week I probably don't want to look at it again because I cringe. I'm kind of the opposite way, if I can be honest with you a little bit, because for me, I don't draw anything that I don't want to put out there, right? So basically, like, if I know I'm gonna maybe regret drawing something in the future, I'm probably not gonna necessarily sit down and draw it in the first place, right? And even when I do look back at some of the older stuff and maybe some of the stuff I've done before that didn't come out so great, it's probably because the drawing itself wasn't that good and I feel like I put more effort into it if I really tried. That's number 1. And then number 2, it's like, there is something, I guess I could say there's like 1 or 2 pictures that I don't really look at too much, kind of like the one we talked about not too long ago with Oda-chan, me, and Zontan in the same picture. I don't look at that one too often because, of what kind of came from that, but at the same time, I do look at it every now and again, and I do enjoy a lot of the artworks I do because, it's what I've done, it is what it is when it comes down to it. I can't necessarily hide this secret, so it is what it is. Then I said for number 5, obviously about lolly characters, who is the character that you want to basically draw the most or challenge themselves to draw the most? And for them, they said probably Hinata, which, okay. And some of the other Naruto girls might actually be favorites and the ones I want to draw the most content of, which, hey, I'm down for it though. I'm 100% down for it though. He probably had to see this message later when I, end up sending him the link. But when it comes down to it though, I said personally I would like to see a bit more of Rin Nohara because we did a video on Rin not too long ago and I feel like she's hella underrated. So for me personally, that would be who I would pick. I would say her or first part Anko. Then for the 6th question, I basically asked about, the animation with the nice Shota boy and a big old cowgirl with the fat old milkers. And basically asked, do they plan on making any more animations of it, and they simply just said, as long as I'm allowed to, yes. Which I believe there's another animation that they're already promoting on their own Twitter account, which is having like a bird girl, I think a harpy in it. I'm not too sure, I haven't checked it out fully. And if there's some egg laying in it, best believe I'm about to watch that shit. And lastly, I said, if any, do you have a favorite Lolly character and why? I mean, it's LollyCon Pride Month, so I might as well have to, throw the question out there, honestly. And he basically says, probably Komi-san or Hinata Hyuga again. To be honest, I don't have lasting likings for any characters. I'm always off trends in the fan art side of things, and it's pretty much because I tend to change my mind every so often. Relatable. You might be able to see that on my pics of sometimes is my dress up darling content for a while, then Nagatoro-san for a couple of weeks, then Takagi-san, and so on. If you were to ask me this again in a month or two, I'd probably pick another set, basically. So yeah, and we talked about this before, Kohas, which is character drive, obviously, because when it comes down to it, character drive is essentially, at least how I define it, is when you're on a high for a certain character for X amount of time, then you dip off for a little bit and you go to another character and be high on them. Kind of like how it was with Toko for a long ass time, and then I end up go to maybe, let's say, Tanya or something like that. Maybe it could be a day, an hour, or a week or a month. Honestly, you could be high enough for a good ass minute of time, but you'll eventually drop off on them. It's not like a waifu type of situation where it's like, oh, I love them completely and fully like that. No, it's just like you're high on them for that moment, and that's essentially what it is. But that right there is the questions and answers that we got from Godoy. Again, thank you very much for giving me your time and, coming back and to respond to me, even though you didn't have to, which, to be perfectly honest, a lot of people don't do that. So the fact that you did, I appreciate that 100%. And I don't think I need to tell you, but obviously go ahead and follow them on Twitter, because yes, they definitely are very talented, very damn good at what they do, and obviously I just want to see what more they can obviously do. Anytime we get some more eerie content, you best believe I'm ready to see what it is and smell it through the screen. Hopefully you did enjoy this whole Q&A. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification anywhere else. Also follow me on socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. Again, if you would like to send me a DM for Kakatsu, then please do. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.